Hello and welcome to Mastermind with me, Clive Myrie. In the spotlight tonight are Judith Edwards, a retired librarian whose specialist subject is the Horatio Hornblower novels of C.S. Forester. Lizzie McCarroll, a student who will be answering questions on the singer-songwriter Joni Mitchell. Mark Spencer Turner, a writer and singer whose subject is the wives of Henry VIII. And Helen Garner, a project manager, her specialist subject, the films of Tom Cruise. Are you sitting comfortably at home in your favourite armchair, perhaps? On the couch? Lounging on a beanbag even? Well, imagine swapping whatever it is for Mastermind's black chair. Not so comfortable now, eh? Add to that the spotlight, the ticking clock, and 2 minutes on a chosen specialist subject, as well as 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. We should all tip our hats to the Fantastic Four here with us tonight. So, can I ask our first contender to join us, please? Your name?
Judith Edwards.
Your occupation?
Retired librarian.
And your specialist subject?
The Hornblower novels of C.S. Forester.
That's the fictional adventures of the courageous Royal Navy officer Horatio Hornblower during the Napoleonic Wars. In 2 minutes, starting now. What's the name of the 74-gun ship, previously the Dutch vessel Eendracht, of which Hornblower is given command in A Ship of the Line?
Sutherland.
Yes. Which charitable body presented Hornblower with a 50-guinea sword of honour for his part in the capture of the Spanish ship Castilla?
The Patriotic Fund.
Yes, after Italian soldiers have returned fire at HMS Sutherland, the gunroom steward reports that Tom Cribb's been killed and Mrs. Siddons has got a splinter in her backside. Who or what are Tom Cribb and Mrs. Siddons?
They're pigs.
Yes, in flying colours, Hornblower and his companions escaped from the French colonel escorting them to Paris by taking a rowing boat down which river that has been heavily flooded?
The Loire.
Yes, what's the name of the clergyman imprisoned in Newgate for forgery, whom the Admiralty employs to forge orders from Napoleon to one of his naval commanders in Hornblower and the Crisis?
Claudius.
Yes, when he's in the West Indies, Hornblower receives a letter from his wife in which, in her description of Charles Ramsbottom, he reads for the first time what new word that he dislikes on sight?
Millionaire.
Yes, what's the name of the steward who replaces Grimes on the Hotspur and on his first evening serves Hornblower lobster cutlets with butter sauce, new potatoes and cider?
Doughty.
Yes, in the Commodore, what's the name of the Swedish territory on the South Baltic coast that Napoleon invades after he hears that Hornblower has destroyed a French privateer in its waters?
Pomerania.
Yes, what's the name of the canal boat that Hornblower helps to navigate down the Thames and Severn Canal in Hornblower and the Atropos?
The Queen Charlotte.
Yes, in Mr. Midshipman Hornblower, the French Royalist Battalion brings on board what unusual item that their commander, Pouzauges, says he is taking to France to give those anarchists a taste of their own medicine?
Pass.
What's the name of the gambling club where Hornblower earns a living playing whist after the Peace of Amiens temporarily halts his naval career?
The Long Rooms.
Yes, in Lieutenant Hornblower, in accordance with Admiralty regulations, on the fourth Sunday of the month, instead of a church service, Captain Sawyer reads aloud to the men of HMS Renown. From what legal document?
The naval regulations?
No, it's the Articles of War.
Articles.
Judith, you just had one pass in Mr. Midshipman Hornblower. The French Royalist Battalion brings on board a guillotine. And at the end of that round, Judith, you've got 10 points. And our next contender, please. Your name?
Lizzie McCarroll.
And your occupation?
Student.
And your specialist subject?
Joni Mitchell.
The Canadian singer and songwriter in 2 minutes, starting now. Joni Mitchell's hit song, Big Yellow Taxi, features the recurring lyric, they paved paradise and put up a what?
Parking lot.
Yes, around the age of 9, Mitchell contracted which disease resulting in such damage to her left hand that she had to devise special ways of playing the guitar frets?
Polio.
Yes. What was the name of the school teacher to whom Mitchell dedicated her first album, Song to a Seagull, stating that he taught me to love words?
Arthur Kratzman.
Yes. In March 1968, while Mitchell was performing at Le Hibou Coffee House in Ottawa, one of her shows was recorded by which American rock star who was playing at the Capitol Theatre nearby?
Jimi Hendrix.
Yes. Mitchell wrote the classic song Woodstock, although she'd not performed at the 1969 weekend event because she was booked for the Monday to appear on which television show?
The Dick Cavett Show.
Yes. On which track on Mitchell's Ladies of the Canyon album is the chorus credited to the Lookout Mountain United Downstairs Choir, a reference to her home on Lookout Mountain Avenue?
The Circle Game.
Yes. Mitchell wrote material for her album Blue while she travelled around the Mediterranean in 1970 and spent some time in a cave with a hippie community in which village in Crete?
Matala.
Yes. On which label set up by David Geffen did Mitchell release her album For the Roses after her contract with Reprise had ended?
Asylum.
Yes. 3 concerts that were edited and shown on the Old Grey Whistle Test in November 1974 had been performed by Mitchell earlier in the year at which London theatre?
The Royal Albert Hall.
No, the New Victoria Theatre. What denomination was the Canadian commemorative postage stamp featuring Mitchell issued in June 2007 as part of a set of 4 honouring Canadian recording artists?
First Class.
No, 52 cents. What was the name of the Tibetan Buddhist master who Mitchell met in the mid-1970s and whom she credits with enlightening her with a spiritual breathing technique that curtailed her heavy drug use?
Trungpa Rinpoche.
Yes. He had dinos and Pooh Bears and lions, pink and blue there, is a lyric from which song on Mitchell's 1979 album Mingus?
Sweet Sucker Dance.
No, the dry cleaner from Des Moines, on which studio album cover is Mitchell depicted leaning on a television that has horses on the screen?
Wild Things Run Fast.
Yes, it's Wild Things Run Fast. And Lizzie, you had no passes, and at the end of that round, you've got 10 points.
Thank you.
And our next contender, please. Your name?
Mark Spencer Turner.
Your occupation?
Writer and singer.
And your specialist subject?
The Wives of Henry VIII.
The 6 wives of Henry VIII, Catherine of Aragon and Boleyn, Jane Seymour, Anne of Cleves, Catherine Howard and Catherine Parr. In 2 minutes. Starting now. To commemorate one of his marriages, Henry VIII had a gold medal struck with a Latin inscription which translates as blushing rose without a thorn. Which wife does this refer to?
Catherine Howard.
Yes, Henry's first wife, Catherine of Aragon, had previously been married to Henry's older brother, but he died soon afterwards when he was just 15. What was his name?
Arthur.
Yes. When Catherine of Aragon arrived in England in 1501, her chief lady-in-waiting was described as the First Lady of Honour and First Lady of the Bedchamber. What was her name?
Doña Elvira Manuel.
Yes, the earliest mention of Anne Boleyn at the English court is in 1522 when she took part in a pageant playing what role?
Hope.
No, Perseverance. Anne Boleyn was pregnant when she married Henry in January 1533, and the following month the Spanish ambassador Chapuis noted that she publicly reported having a furious hankering to eat what fruit?
Apples.
Yes. In 1536, Anne Boleyn was found guilty of adultery with 5 men and admitted that she'd remarked to one of the men, "If aught came to the king but good, you would look to have me." What was his name?
Henry Knollys.
Yes. On becoming Henry's 3rd wife in 1536, Jane Seymour chose the motto bound to obey and serve, and her personal badge featured what mythical bird?
An eagle.
No, a phoenix. Jane Seymour died in 1537, shortly after giving birth to Prince Edward. But as was customary, Henry did not attend the funeral. Who acted as the chief mourner in his place?
Pass.
In 1540, Henry reluctantly married his 4th wife, Anne of Cleves, who'd previously been betrothed at the age of 12 to Francis, the son of the Duke of Ware?
Lorraine.
Yes, Henry had his marriage to Anne of Cleves annulled after only 6 months, and as part of her divorce settlement, she was given Anne Boleyn's childhood home of Hever Castle, the Palace of Bletchingley, and which other royal palace?
Blickling.
No, Richmond Palace. To mark Henry's marriage to his 5th wife, Catherine Howard, in 1540, the translator, Richard Jonas, dedicated a work on obstetrics to her. What was the English title of the book?
Pass.
Catherine Parr, I've started, so I'll finish, had been twice widowed by the time she became Henry's 6th wife in 1543. What was the name of her stepdaughter by her 2nd husband, Lord Latimer, who thanked Catherine for her tender love and bountiful goodness?
Elizabeth.
No, it was Margaret Neville. And Mark, you had 2 passes to mark Henry's marriage to his 5th wife, Catherine Howard, in 1540. The translator, Richard Jonas, dedicated a work on obstetrics. It's called The Birth of Mankind. And Jane Seymour died in 1537. Henry did not attend the funeral. The chief mourner in his place was the Lady Mary. Yes, you knew. And at the end of that round, Mark, you've got 6 points. And our final contender, please. Your name
Helen Garner,
and your occupation
project manager.
and your specialist subject.
The films of Tom Cruise.
The prolific Hollywood actor known for the Mission Impossible films, among many others. In 2 minutes, starting now, in Risky Business, Cruise's character, Joel Goodson, sits an interview to study business at which Ivy League university?
Princeton.
Yes, Cruise received his first Oscar nomination for his role in the 1989 film Born on the 4th of July, playing which paraplegic anti-war activist?
Rod Kovic.
Yes, in Mission Impossible, the IMF agent Ethan Hunt infiltrates the American embassy in Prague by impersonating John Walzer, a Democratic senator from which US state?
Virginia.
Yes, in Top Gun, the call sign of Cruise's character is Maverick. What's the call sign of the commanding officer of the Top Gun Academy, played by Tom Skerritt?
Viper.
Yes, in Rain Man, as part of his bedtime routine, Raymond Babbitt, played by Dustin Hoffman, drinks apple juice and eats 12 of what snack items?
Cheese balls.
Yes, in Vanilla Sky, the publisher David Ames recalls a line in his father's book which says that the answer to 99 out of 100 questions is what?
Money.
Yes, in Minority Report, what's the name of the doctor whose research led to the creation of the pre-crime program?
Iris Hinneman.
Yes, in A Few Good Men, one of the accused Marines, Lance Corporal Dawson, tells his lawyer, Daniel Caffey, that the Cuban sentries who surround Guantanamo are known by what term?
Pass.
Cruise received his second Oscar nomination for Jerry Maguire, in which the title character tells his prospective date, Dorothy Boyd, that her outfit is more than a dress. It's a movie with which actress?
Audrey Hepburn.
Yes, in a conversation in Collateral between the club owner, Daniel, and Cruise's character, Vincent, Daniel says that which jazz musician once played there and describes him as the coolest man on the planet?
Miles Davis.
Yes, in Cocktail, Jerry's Deli, where Jordan Mooney works as a waitress, is described by Cruise's character, Brian Flanagan, as the home of the famous cement what?
Danish.
Yes, in Jack Reacher, Cruise's title character visits a gun club where he suspects the alleged sniper practiced. What's the name of the gun club?
Hinge Creek.
Yes, which Oscar-winning writer and director wrote the screenplays for both Jack Reacher and Edge of Tomorrow?
Christopher McQuarrie.
Yes, in Days of Thunder, the crew chief, Harry Hogg, tells Claire, the neurosurgeon, played by Nicole Kidman, that racing drivers like Cole Trickle don't go to hospitals and they don't go to what events?
Funerals.
Yes, they don't go to funerals. Helen, you had just 1 pass in A Few Good Men. The Cuban sentries who surround Guantanamo are known as mirrors. And at the end of that round, Helen, you've got 13 points.
Wow.
And at the end of the specialist subjects round, let's have a look at the scores. In 4th place with 6 points, it's Mark. In joint 2nd place with 10 points, it's Judith and Lizzie. And in 1st place with 13 points comes Helen. So now the general knowledge round, and if there's a tie at the end, then the number of passes is taken into account, and the person with the fewer passes is the winner. And if they're tied on the passes as well, it's a tie break. So let's ask Mark to join us again, please. So, Mark, you start with 6 points, plenty of time to go. You've got 2.5 minutes now on general knowledge, starting now. Which city on the southern side of the Firth of Forth is the capital of Scotland?
Edinburgh.
Yes. Who was the president of Iraq from 1979 until 2003?
Gaddafi.
No, Saddam Hussein. The name claret is applied to certain wines from vineyards in the region around which city in southwest France?
The Loire.
No, Bordeaux. A repeated line in the folk ballad Scarborough Fair lists the herbs parsley, sage, rosemary, and what?
Thyme.
Yes. What name is given to the day immediately after the US holiday of Thanksgiving, which is regarded as the start of the end of the year shopping season and is marked by retail discounts?
Black Friday.
Yes. In the English city of Durham, the Elvet, Frammelgate, and Prebends bridges span which river?
Pass.
Which British Prime Minister has been portrayed on screen by Michael Sheen in The Deal in 2003, in The Queen in 2006, and The Special Relationship in 2010?
Tony Blair.
Yes. Which US state is nicknamed the Sooner State? The word Sooner being a name for someone who entered the land early to claim territory.
Pass.
What term from a Latin word meaning small bone can refer to any such bone, but is commonly used as a collective name for those in the middle ear?
Pass.
Which American singer and actress topped the UK singles chart for 9 weeks in 2021 with a song entitled Driver's License?
Olivia Rodriguez.
No, Olivia Rodrigo. What's the Arabic word meaning the breaking of the fast for the meal eaten by Muslims after sunset during Ramadan?
Pass.
Which controversial French philosopher who died in 2004 introduced the term deconstruction to describe the method of critical examination which he championed?
Foucault.
No, Jacques Derrida. The Carlton Club, a private club in central London, was founded in 1832 as a meeting place for members of which political party?
Tories.
Yes. What term for a large, flat area of grassland in South America comes from the local Quechua word for a plain?
Pampas.
Yes. Which Greek mathematician wrote the hugely influential treatise on geometry entitled Elements?
Archimedes.
No, Euclid. In 2004, Emilia Fox began playing a forensic pathologist called Nikki Alexander in which television crime drama series?
Silent Witness.
Yes. A Novocastrian is a native or inhabitant of which city in northeast England?
Newcastle.
Yes. Which author wrote a collection of humorous verse entitled Cautionary Tales for Children, first published in 1907, which includes stories entitled Jim, who ran away from his nurse and was eaten by a lion, and Rebecca, who slammed doors for fun and perished miserably?
Rudyard Kipling.
No, it's Hilaire Belloc. Mark, you had 4 passes. The Arabic word meaning breaking of the fast is iftar. The Latin term meaning small bone, it's ossicle. Oklahoma is the Sooner State. And the Elvit, Frammelgate, and Prebends bridges, they span the River Wear. And at the end of that round, Mark, you've got 14 points. Next up, it's Judith. So, Judith, you start with 10 points. The score to beat, as it stands, 14 points. You've got 2.5 minutes of general knowledge, starting now. The medical condition paresthesia, a prickling or tingling sensation often felt after sustained pressure on a nerve, is commonly known as pins and what?
Needles.
Yes. In 19th century America, the abolitionist movement was an organised effort to end what practice?
Slavery.
Yes. In English grammar, what name is given to a word that describes a noun or pronoun?
Pass.
Sally Hawkins, Octavia Spencer and Richard Jenkins were all nominated for acting Oscars for their performances in what 2017 film?
Pass.
The Gulf of Carpentaria is a large inlet on the north coast of which Commonwealth country?
Australia.
Yes. What's the name of the Conservative Party politician who was re-elected as mayor of the West Midlands in May 2021?
Andy Burnham.
No, Andy Street, the jewellery designer and former model who is the daughter of Mick and Bianca Jagger, shares her name with what stone commonly used in jewellery?
Jade.
Yes. Which insects, often regarded as pests because of the damage they can do to timber, live in large colonies and are sometimes called white ants?
Termites.
Yes. Which author, known for her books for younger readers such as Madame Doubtfire, Goggle Eyes and Bill's New Frock, was the Children's Laureate from 2001 to 2003?
Pass.
What 5-letter name derived from that of a noted British physicist is given to the SI unit of electrical capacitance?
The ohm.
No, farad. What name is given to grain such as barley, which has been through a process that involves steeping, germination and kilning, and which, once processed, is used mainly to make beer, whiskey and vinegar?
Malt.
Yes. What name for the Greek for star is given to the star-shaped symbol used in printing as a reference to a footnote or annotation?
Asterisk.
Yes. The first Russian Formula One Grand Prix was held in 2014 in which city?
Pass.
Which band formed in Glasgow in 1990 with Fran Healy as the lead singer has had UK hit singles with Why Does It Always Rain on Me and Sing?
Pass.
What was the name of the first Director General of the BBC?
Lord Reith.
Yes, in May 1961, who became the first American astronaut to travel in space when he made a 15-minute suborbital flight in the Freedom 7 spacecraft?
Pass.
What's the two-digit international dialing code for the UK when phoning from abroad?
44.
Yes. Which influential British economist wrote the 1919 book, The Economic Consequences of the Peace, in which he argued that the size of the reparations demanded of Germany after the First World War would lead to political instability and social unrest in that country?
Maynard Keynes?
Yes, John Maynard Keynes. You've got 6 passes, Judith, and I know you knew so many of these. The first American astronaut to travel to space, Alan Shepard. Travis is the band formed in Glasgow in 1990 with Fran Healy. It's Sochi, where the first Russian Formula One Grand Prix took place. The author known for her books for younger readers, such as Madame Doubtfire, that's Anne Fine. Sally Hawkins, Octavia Spencer, and Richard Jenkins were all nominated for Oscars for The Shape of Water. And in English grammar, the name given to a word that describes a noun or pronoun is adjective. That chair is scary, it's daunting, it can make your brain go. But at the end of that round, Judith, you have a total of 20 points. Right, time for Lizzie. Lizzie, you start with 10 points. The score to beat, as it stands, 20 points. And you've got 2.5 minutes of general knowledge. Starting now, what cereal grain is the main ingredient of the Italian dish risotto?
Rice.
Yes, a large building used to house aircraft is known by what name derived from a French term for a shelter?
Hangar.
Yes, which American actress won a Golden Globe in 2021 for her portrayal of Margaret Thatcher in the television series The Crown?
Gillian Anderson.
Yes, the Indian, the Javan and the Sumatran are the 3 Asian species of what large horned mammal?
Antelope.
No, rhinoceros. At the World Indoor Athletics Championships, the shortest sprint is run over how many metres?
60.
Yes, the Anglo-Norman knight known as Richard Fitzgilbert or Richard de Clare, who led an invasion of Ireland in 1170, was known by what military-sounding nickname?
Sir.
No, Richard Strongbow. What name for a type of antibiotic drug originally isolated from mould is derived from a Latin word for paintbrush?
Penicillin.
Yes, which US senator and former mayor of Burlington, Vermont, stood as a candidate for the Democratic Party presidential nomination in 2016 and 2020?
Bernie Sanders.
Yes, which Christian denomination, which officially broke with the Church of England in 1795, had originated as a group of Oxford students dubbed the Holy Club, who gathered for worship and Bible study?
Unitarian.
No, Methodism. Which American television Western series, first shown in 1959, tells of the adventures of the Cartwright family, the owners of the Ponderosa Ranch?
Gunsmoke.
No, Bonanza. Which American singer, whose UK hit singles include Everything I Wanted, Therefore I Am and Your Power, won the International Female Solo Artist category at the 2021 Brit Awards?
Billie Eilish.
Yes. What 1958 horror film starring Vincent Price was remade in 1986 with the tagline, Be afraid, be very afraid?
Pass.
What's the name of the title character of an 1876 novel by Mark Twain about a mischievous boy who lives with his Aunt Polly?
Tom Sawyer.
Yes. Which major American city stands on the site of the 17th century Dutch settlement of New Amsterdam?
New York.
Yes. What term derived from a Latin word meaning to run is used to refer to the range of subjects that make up a course in a school or college?
Pass.
In 1995, the scientist Martin Rees was appointed to what position that was once held by Edmund Halley?
Head of the UN.
No, Astronomer Royal. What stage musical features the songs Circle of Life, Grasslands Chant and Hakuna Matata?
Lion King.
Yes, the winner of the 1970 Eurovision Song Contest, who represented Ireland with the song All Kinds of Everything, stood for the presidency of the country in 1997 and later served as a member of the European Parliament. What's her stage name?
Linda Martin.
No, Dana. And that's the end of your round. So, Lizzie, you had 2 passes. The term derived from a Latin word meaning to run used to refer to a range of subjects that make up a course in a college or school. It's curriculum. Yeah, you knew that.
Yeah.
And The Fly is the 1958 horror film. Yeah, Vincent Price. Be afraid, be very afraid. And at the end of that round, Lizzie, you now have a total of 20 points.
Thank you.
And finally, let's have Helen again, please. So, Helen, you start with 13 points. The score to beat to get through to the semi-finals is Judith and Lizzie's 20 points, and you've now got 2.5 minutes of general knowledge Starting now. Which element has the chemical symbol H?
Hydrogen.
Yes. What name is given to a line joining the center of a circle to any single point on its circumference?
Radius.
Yes. Which American television series that ran from 2009 to 2015 is about a high school club named New Directions, dedicated to singing and dancing?
Glee.
Yes. What word is used to describe mollusks such as mussels, oysters and clams, whose shells are divided into two halves and are hinged on one side?
Bivalve.
Yes. Which Scottish football club became the first British winners of the European Cup with a 2-1 defeat of Inter Milan in the final in Lisbon in 1967?
Celtic.
Yes, the 2015 book entitled Dictator is the third installment in a trilogy of historical novels by Robert Harris based on the life of which Roman statesman and orator?
Julius Caesar.
No, Cicero. Which political party founded in 1925 has a Welsh name that translates as Party of Wales?
Plaid Cymru.
Yes. Which actor plays the genie in the 2019 live-action remake of Disney's Aladdin?
Will Smith.
Yes. What was the name of the king of Albania who was forced into exile when the country was invaded by Italian troops in 1939?
Zog.
Yes. Which former judge on Strictly Come Dancing, who was awarded a damehood in 2021, has been the choreographer on West End shows such as Starlight Express, Grease and We Will Rock You?
Pass.
The US government department created in 2002 and known by the initials DHS is the Department of Homeland what?
Security.
Yes, Jimmy Webb wrote the 1960s hits By the Time I Get to Phoenix and Wichita Lineman for which American country singer who died in 2017?
Glenn Campbell.
Yes, in 2019, Egan Bernal became the first cyclist from which South American country to win the Tour de France?
Colombia.
Yes, the Hotel Biron in Paris houses a museum dedicated to which French sculptor?
Rodin.
Yes, which ceremonial English county is known in its own language as Kernow?
Cornwall.
Yes, the broadcaster Roy Plumley is best known for having devised and having been the first presenter of what radio programme first broadcast in 1942?
Desert Island Discs.
Yes, in a UK general election, the percentage of votes cast in a given constituency that a candidate must receive to avoid losing their deposit was reduced in 1985 from 12.5% to how many percent?
10%.
No, 5%. The poem, The Ballad of East and West, which includes the line, "Oh, East is East and West is West, and never the twain shall meet," is by which British writer?
Shakespeare.
No, it's Rudyard Kipling. And Helen, what a round. You had one pass. Dame Arlene Phillips, yeah, is that former judge on Strictly. And at the end of that round, Helen, blistering stuff, 27 points.
Thank you.
So let's have a look at the final scores. In fourth place with 14 points, it's Mark. In joint second place with 20 points, Judith and Lizzie. And in first place with 27 points, it's Helen, which means that she goes through to the semi-finals. Congratulations to her. If you would like to be a contender in the next series, please go to our website, bbc.co.uk/mastermind, and you can follow us at Mastermind Quiz. Join us again next time for more Masterminds. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
I'm super happy with my score. Now on to the next round, and who knows if I can go further and make it all the way. That is my aim, and I would be super chuffed to do that.